Okay, so thank you very much for joining our UTA Café EU Japan webinar series number one. So my name is Takuro Yonezawa from Nagoya University, Japan. So、本日は UTA カフェ EU ジャパンウェビナーシリーズの第1回目にお越しいただきましてありがとうございます。So、最初イントロダクションの方はですね、英語の方でさせていただきたいと思います。So let me introduce the first just introduction with English. So maybe you can see the translated to the Japanese in the Glowjoy. We sent the link, and also you can access via chat window. Okay, so good morning and good afternoon, everyone. So thank you very much for joining again. My name is Takuro Yonezawa from Nagoya University. I am kind of responsible for coordinating this webinar series on Japan side. So first, I'd like to briefly explain the purpose of today's event. So the organizer of this webinar, the Urban Technology Alliance, or we call UTA, is an international non-profit organization that connects cities, companies, universities, and research institutions across countries. And UTA promotes the testing and evaluation of smart city technologies and ideas in real urban environments with the aim of supporting their practical implementation in society. So as you know, today the challenges facing cities are becoming increasingly complex, including climate change, digital transformation, generative AI, and social isolation. So rather than seeking solutions within a single city or country, it is becoming increasingly important to share experiences and knowledge across different regions and to work together internationally. In addition, from this year, January, Japanese organizations have become eligible to apply for Horizon Europe calls. That is the fund grant in the big kind of the funding opportunity in Europe. So this has greatly expanded the opportunity for us, Japanese institutions, to participate in that course and lead joint research and innovation project with European partners. So we hope to provide more detailed information about this funding opportunity in the next session. So through this webinar series, we aim to connect smart city stakeholders in Europe and Japan, learn about each other's activities, and explore new possibilities for future collaboration. So let me briefly introduce today's program. So first, Dr. Levent Gürgen, President of UTA, will provide an overview of the Urban Technology Alliance. This will be followed by Dr. Rodger Lea, Technical Director of UTA, will introduce some of UTA's specific activities. And then we will then hear the presentation about the initiatives of UTA members. Our speakers are Mr. Laurent from the city of Grenoble, France, and Mr. Gaetano from Latitude 40. And also from Japan, Mr. Masahiro Mochizuki from Dr. Masahiro Mochizuki from the Institute of Social Systems Research. And I will also give a short presentation. So during the presentations, please feel free to post your questions and comments in the chat window at any time. So we hope that today's presentations and discussions will provide you with new insights and opportunity to connect with others. So just notification again, we are using the Glowjoy, that's a real-time translator service by NTT Advanced Technology Company Corporation. So please access the URL and chat window, and let me type again. Yeah. And yes, you can also configure that the interface for auto-scrolling the text. Okay, so I'd like to pass to the floor to the Levent. So Levent, could you please start your presentation?
Okay, hello, good morning, everyone, and good afternoon. I'm Levent Gürgen. I'm chairing the UTA board, and I'm also a founder and CEO of a startup company Kentyou, which is a strategic member of Urban Technology Alliance. I would like first to thank Takuro for organizing this first of the EU Japan webinar series. As mentioned by Takuro, we will have two other ones in September and October, so hope you can join. And yeah, I would like to thank him and also my colleagues, Marina, Natalia, and Roger, for supporting the organization of this event. And I'm also happy to see such a great number of registrations with a variety of people. So I think that will be a great informative session today. So, Urban Technology Alliance, I will be just a very brief introduction, then I will leave the floor to my colleague Roger, which will make a more deep presentation of the alliance, but just in few words and numbers. So, Urban Technology Alliance, in one sentence, is a worldwide testing environment. It has been founded for filling the gap of having a trusted intermediary between cities and solution partners. We do not want to see technology push solutions used in cities, but rather need-driven solutions to be deployed in cities. The UTA is here to allow cities to share their challenges and solution providers to test their solutions in real life environments so that this matchmaking can happen and cities can see how the solutions work on their fields. And this also allows solution providers to validate their solution. So with a few numbers, we have 38 member organizations, many cities, full members and partner cities where we can organize pilot deployments. We have, thanks to the innovation projects we have a large number of partners that we are working day to day closely. Present in 3 continents. Hope we will extend to the other remaining continents, but yeah, currently we are mainly focusing Asia, Europe, and some presence in America. Representing 20 countries, have already successfully conducted more than 15 pilots, demonstrating more than 10 domains, and a lot of UTA members there already in the EU project consortia, and UTA with its members secured about 24 million euros. So UTA also helps finding funds to be able to pilot help you performing the pilots that you have in mind. These are some presence we have, as I mentioned, mainly present in Europe and in Asia, in particular in Japan and also Korea. So all these, when we started UTA, we knew indeed that many challenges from the cities are common across different countries, continents. So it was indeed for us the moment we decided, okay, we should mutualize our resources and we should do something together where we found Urban Technology Alliance. So from now on, I will give the floor to my colleague Roger. Roger, if you want to take over and go into more in detail.
Yep, thanks very much, Levent. Let me just see if I can pop up my screen. So can you see that screen okay?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I will just
Okay.
mute mine and then yeah, I was stopped in this preceding slide, but I don't know if you can already start from here.
Should be okay. Okay, so thanks very much, Levent, and equally thanks to everybody who's participating today. Let me just very briefly, I don't want to spend too much time, but give you a little bit more detail on what it is we do, how we operate, and some of the value for our members. So as Levent indicated, We're focused around city scale test beds. We work with the cities to develop test beds in the city, and that can be a virtual test bed or a physical test bed in the city, which is used really to allow the city to explore some of the problems that it's currently addressing. And as Levent indicated, these problems are common. The context is different across cities, but everybody's dealing with issues around pollution, around sustainability, around transportation, etc., etc. So we try and ensure the city's got a test bed that we can then use to help the city explore problems and bring new technologies to those. We work also as a matchmaking platform, and that's in a sense part of this city scale test beds. When a city indicates to us there's a problem, we look for funding and try to bring together different partners that can address that problem. If it's an early stage problem, we may bring research partners from our academic partners, or if it's later stage, it may just be solutions from some of our technical providers. And then the last area we operate and provide as a kind of a common theme throughout most of our activities is really knowledge sharing, best practices among cities. We spend a lot of time in situations like this running webinars or documenting successes or even failures, because it's important to share failures, to really just help cities understand what's happening around the world and where they can share practices. And quite often when a city comes to us with a problem, rather than setting up a new trial with them, we actually say, hey, go talk to our friends in New York or in Barcelona. They've done this before. They can help you with this. So those are the three main areas that we operate across. What we deliver out of those, if you think about logically, the pilots and trials come out of those activities, and these are things that operate in cities, the cities can use for their particular activities and then move on to a more commercial deployment of those. And the trials can be shared between cities. We provide guidelines and methodologies, really ways to help our city members understand what they can do, how they can do run the trials, how they can deploy technology. Often really just here's a new technology, so particularly Gen AI has been quite a common theme over the last year, and we provide guidelines and methodologies as to how you might want to work with those. And finally, you can think of us as a technology agnostic marketplace. We are a non-profit. We don't promote a particular technology. And so we try and help our cities find the best solution. Obviously, solutions coming from our members get advantaged because we know those solutions, but we're agnostic about those. I think, as Levent indicated, quite a number of members, a vibrant community. We're not trying to grow the organization to be the largest organization on the planet. We're really looking for active members, and there's a small number of them you can see here. I won't go through in detail, but they range from cities, both, as Levent said, in Europe and in Asia and a little bit in North America. Larger companies, smaller companies, particularly SMEs, and then primarily research and academic organizations, and they make up the community. And this is a subset of some of the cities that we work with and the test beds they have available, ranging from Busan, Santander, through to some in the Philippines, in Japan, etc. And really, we try and promote these to our members so that they can try out ideas and share ideas amongst themselves. We spend a lot of time promoting our activities and trying to help members, in a sense, share information. And some of them are shown here. We generally run these webinars, workshops, but we also participate in large events like the Smart City World Congress in Barcelona every year. We attend that event, take usually 4 or 6 of our members there and allow them to promote their either research problems if they're a city member or problems that they're trying to address, or if they're technology members, then their technology solutions. So we act a lot of the time as a way of just communicating the success stories of the operations that we are involved in. We're, as Levent said, a non-profit based association. We're technically headquartered in Geneva, although we are scattered a little bit around the world. And we're run by a board, and the board is made up of our members. And so very much a member-driven organization. At the moment, myself and Levent, and then some of the other members you can see below here. So a cross-section of the different people involved. And this gives us, we hope, a very broad perspective, both city members explaining some of the things they need, but also technical members. And as board members, they can drive the operation. So we're driven by our members and our board representing our members. And I've touched on this, but just to sort of iterate that message, really, you can look at us as focused on the pilots. They are the key thing we do. They're, in a sense, a thing that differentiates us from a lot of other organizations. We're certainly about sharing information and communicating and helping our members understand. But we run these pilots, and these pilots are physical instantiations of ideas because our feeling is if unless you try it out in a city, you're never going to understand if it's going to work in your city. And so the pilots that are heart of what we do, and the cities bring the challenges, and then our other members bring the innovative solutions. Some of the pilots we currently have, these are mostly ongoing pilots. So we're going to talk today about some of the work in Grenoble, France, on urban heat islands. We've got active pilots currently running in Istanbul and Helsinki on smart traffic management, in Barcelona on parking, in Fujisawa, Japan on smart parks and infrastructure management, and in New York, we're working on smart intersections. So these are kind of currently active. We've been running pilots with cities for the last 8 years, I think now, and we have a wide range of these. And so to touch on very briefly some of these, we've been working in North America on some sustainability activities with Vancouver, for example. We're working in Isabela in the Philippines, looking at technology solutions in a sense in cities that are not first world, but they're rapidly catching up. And so some of the problems, although similar, the context is different. We've been working in Ireland on urban planning. We've worked a lot on digital twins, etc. So we have a range of different projects. And as I say, they're driven by the needs of the city. So when a city comes to us, we work with them and try and find solutions to those. One of the other areas, and I think Levent touched on this, is we're very active in the European Union's Horizon Europe projects. We generally have 2 or 3 running at any one time. There's a couple that are ongoing at the moment, the MyCAD project and Urban Flow project. MyCAD is more of a policy project, and it's looking at digital frameworks and toolkits to help European cities and metropolitan areas address climate and digital transitions. And so that's mostly about providing guidelines, tools, and technology to help transitioning. And then we have another project, Urban Flow, which is climate neutral urban regeneration. And this is really working with the cities themselves to try and come up with plans for urban regeneration, which is climate neutral, and different types of urban regeneration in the different cities. At any one time, and I think Takuro mentioned this briefly, that there's a variety of propose or requests for proposals that European Commission puts out for the Horizon projects. These go in cycles, and we're actively involved in bringing consortia together to respond to these and hopefully to win these. And one of our benefits for our members is we help them get involved in these. And so since Japan now is eligible to be a member of these, we can help our Japanese partners join consortia, either consortia that we set up ourselves and drive, or consortia that we're aware of from our network of members and outside members. And so we can help potential Japanese partners join some of these. And so if that's of interest to you, we'd be very happy to discuss that in further detail. Very briefly then, I'm probably running out of time at this point, but very briefly, in terms of the value for our members, if you're a city, a town, or a region, then the value that you're going to see from working with us is helping develop those testbed capabilities and to run those trials, which are driven by your priorities. Equally, learning from cities worldwide. We find for our city members, one of the things they're mostly concerned about is who else has done this, because they want the assurance that there are other cities that have tried this particular approach and it's worked for those cities. And then, as I say, supporting finding funding and building proposals to win funding. For company members, innovators, SMEs, etc., really it's the flip side of that. It's allowing them access to cities who are developing test beds and are eager to run trials. They can join our city challenges, and obviously we promote their solutions via our events, whether these are web events or physical events at trade shows, etc. And finally, for our research and academic members, it's around providing a real world environment to try out some of their research solutions and to partner with the cities in industry. But again, also access to funding via some of our different mechanisms for finding funding. Very briefly, we have 3 different membership levels. You can just kind of come as an associate member and get to know us. Very low entry point, and for cities, it's free. In fact, for cities, all of our membership is free. Principals, more active members, you get to vote in our internal discussions and be potentially members of our board. And strategic are again a level higher than that. But really, most of our members come in at associate level, very easy entry, very little involved, and you can just find out how we operate. So I'll leave it there. I think my 10 minutes is already up. And really, I just want to say if this looks interesting to you and after you've listened to the presentations today of one of our particular trials and one of our activities, then get in touch with us. Either you can contact Takuro directly if you want to just do it on the Japanese side, or you can contact myself or Levent or the contact. And let's just explore how we can work together. We're eager to find new members who want to be actively involved, so please come talk to us. Thanks very much.
So thank you, everybody. Thank you, UTA, for this opportunity to present you, to show you what we did in Grenoble regarding challenge we faced, but I think all we are all facing now. No, so this is it, and now I have to go to presentation. So we made this. We collaborated and with some of members of UTA and mainly Kentyou and Latitudo through a project, a European project co-funded by the European Union, which is called Climaboro. It's a quite complex project which implicates around 15 cities around Europe, facing each one of them facing one specific challenge. So I won't go into details regarding each challenge city, and I will focus on the one we were addressing in Grenoble. So the main challenge was adapting urban planning, the way we make the town, and we adapt it to urban overheating, which is now a big problem in the world, which is a bigger problem in France, and which is a bigger problem in Grenoble, because we are in the mountain, and because when you are higher, the impact of urban heating is higher. We say that when you gain 1.5 at average in the world on it, it's 2.5 in Grenoble. So this is now something which is quite concerning, even regarding people health and naturally people comfort. But we estimate in France there is around 4,000 deaths relative to it this year, since early June, early May, or mid-May, let's say. So it's one thing we have to take into account when we choose a new urban project around the city. So the challenge was building a resilient metropole in the context of increasing urban overheating. And it's not so simple to have a clear view on the thing which will have an impact on it. It's not only having heat sensors and having a view of the temperature at the ground level. It's much more complex than that. There are a lot of things that impact, that can be some parameters regarding the way heat around a city. You have naturally the buildings themselves, their height, their shape, or the way, the color, the materials themselves. You have some also the shadows. You have vegetations. You have the presence of water. So there are a lot of parameters, which means a lot of data, and some of them were missing. So the first challenge was to have some clear view of the factors of the data which were necessary to be implemented in the models, in the calculation, in the visualizations. Sorry, and then to see how to produce those data, because there are some which are already produced, let's say, by the city. For example, we know where the buildings are, we know what the shapes of the buildings are, we know the height of the buildings, but we have no data, or only partial ones regarding the vegetations, for example, trees in the city. We know we have data regarding trees in public spaces, but we have no data regarding trees in private spaces, for example. And there are also data which are missing regarding what we call the albedo factor, for example, which is the color of the buildings, or the way the ground, the color of the ground reflects or not the beams from the sun, and all these data are very important. So one of the few challenge of the challenge was to see how to produce the data and one lead which was the one we choose to go through thanks to this project, and thanks to UTA and our partners, was to produce this data through the reprocessing of satellite images. so that these images, which are quite precise and which are also frequently updated, are processed to and then you don't have an image, you have data regarding for example trees or building shape or albedo factor, as I said. I don't know. Yes. So yes, you see the different step we were through. So the objective was to measure the impact of development projects, but also to see how we can adapt the field, the urban planning, and to evaluate specific urban projects. In France, when you have a big urban project, for example, you have people competing and having each one project for one part of the town, and through the tools we made, we are now able to say which project is the best regarding a lot of things about adaptation and about heat adaptation, and because we are able to simulate, let's say, what will be the impacts of each of these projects, and to choose the one which is the better regarding these issues around it. I don't know. I was quite. It was perhaps. I think if you have question, perhaps regarding the project itself or its result, or for our experience.
Yeah.
So yes, what?
Yeah.
Takuro.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. So Levent, do you want to add something about the project? It's okay.
Yeah. So let me unmute. Yeah. So I have indeed a presentation talking about the solution we built for that particular challenge. Maybe I can talk about that. Yeah, I guess Laurent, you had some more slides, but you couldn't show. Maybe we can share those after the event with the participants. I think you had also some other interesting slides we can share with them. Let me share my screen.
I had some more slides regarding the challenge in general, but I think yes,
Okay.
Iceland were perhaps not taken into consideration 3 or 4 years ago, when we first made the proposal to the European Union. Now we are all concerned by it, so I think it's some kind of it's everybody is concerned now and sees how it can impact our territories.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. So from my side, I will be presenting indeed how Urban Technology Alliance respond to that challenge with its members and the solution we have built. So yeah, as mentioned by Laurent, indeed, urban heat island is an emerging issue. There are some very significant figures here. Over 4% of summer mortality in Europe is attributable to urban heat islands in European cities. And this we have seen this example even at the beginning of this summer. Many people unfortunately lost their lives because of this phenomenon, in particular elderly people. And there may be some simple measures that can be taken, like increasing only 30% the tree cover can reduce the temperature of urban environments by up to 1.3 centigrade Celsius, and which would prevent one third of those premature deaths. So that is a bit the main goal of our solution. So how we could indeed create scenarios, monitor the impact of urban planning decisions on this phenomenon. In particular, for the Grenoble case, the Grenoble had a big urbanization project, and the idea was indeed to build the model the impact of those construction projects for urban heat island phenomenon, physiological equivalent temperature, CO2 emissions, etc., so that the decision makers can take informed decisions and to revisit the project if necessary. And with easy to access tools, the idea was also to raise the awareness of the citizens. So we came together with some Urban Technology Alliance members, Kentyou, Latitude 40, and RealSim, to provide a decision support tool to enable urban planners and technicians to better understand the UHI and PET, so physiological equivalent temperature phenomenon, how to facilitate with a holistic tool to stakeholder engagement, how to improve the internal dialogue within the city, and also external communication, promoting the awareness and capacity building both for management and technical personnel, and also by having the research and innovation in the DNA of all those three companies, we also ensure that the solution is scientifically valid and also interoperable with the city's existing IT systems. So what we did is the first step was indeed to see what data we have and how we can integrate that data. That is somehow the core strength of Kentyou and also some other competences from our other members. We have built indeed a unified access platform where we get data from Earth observation, some open data available, some sensor network which is deployed actually in Grenoble, about 150 air temperature stations deployed, and we could also use that data and other information about the point of interest, for example. And then we also, our partner Latitude in particular, had done that analysis of with the satellite image processing, but also on the field temperature sensors, providing all these indicators in terms of, for example, land cover, imperviousness, greenery, carbon storage, which had impact for the urban heat island indexes or physiological equivalent temperature. So by fusioning all these data, we came up with some new indicators about the urban heat island and physiological equivalent temperature. And on top of that, we had that user interaction level, the tool, the decision-making tool, composed of dashboards, graphs, charts, the 2D and 3D views. We have built somehow the 3D digital twin of the city to be able to show all these the construction projects, the impact of those construction projects to those phenomena I mentioned. So 2D views, continuous monitoring of the urban heat islands and physiological equivalent temperature. We did that for 2023, 2024. There were some heat waves, and also now doing for 2005 and for this year. So to understand those hot spots in the city in terms of urban heat island phenomenon calculating different information like canopy levels. It's quite small, but we can see the canopy levels, the land cover, perviousness, green spaces, the water bodies, carbon storage, urban heat islands, and also physiological equivalent temperature. We can have the minimum, maximum, median values, and also go in different scales in the time. We can have different geographical scopes. So as you have seen, we can have the metropole view, we can have city view, we can have district view, or even street view, where we can indeed also see some point of interest that we can better evaluate. In the school areas, for example, are there some risky areas, or we know that in some parts of the city there are some vulnerable populations living, so are there some they are under higher risk or not. All these evaluations can be done within the tool, and as I mentioned, we can calculate different times and with different aggregation values. We can switch to the 3D view. We have done, as I mentioned, the quite detailed 3D representation of the city, using aerial photography, street level photography, using also open data. We have built that 3D part. So besides, as I mentioned, besides monitoring the overall UHI and PET indicators, what we did also to measure the impact of urban projects into those phenomena. So typically we have those master plans of the urbanization project, sometimes well digitalized data, sometimes not. So we have to make some manual processing. But if we have everything georeferenced, everything digitalized, so in a couple of minutes, an hour, we can have that in the analysis finalized to see, okay, that is what's supposed to provide in terms of the contribution to the UHI or PET improvement, based on how many trees are there, what is the material of the surface, how many green areas are there in that project, what is the concrete, all these parameters being calculated, and that provides an index providing the information about that impact. And again, we can switch to 3D views and move around the city and see also how would look like, visually those different projects. We can even plant trees with the tool and see the impact of that in terms of carbon storage or in terms of UHI or PET improvements. We have also a couple of dashboards that provides a real-time value of what's going on, but also historical analysis, how the things are going within the different time periods, and also comparing the before and after scenarios. So how was the land cover before the project? How would be the land cover after the project? Or how would be the UHI index before the project and how it will be the after? And comparing also between different scenarios, that different versions of that urbanization projects. So my last slide, the user benefits, indeed, this for the climate plan adaptation department that provides indeed concrete actions on the ground for connecting the climate strategies, measuring the actual contribution of projects to those climate objectives. For the urban planning and development department, indeed, it can allow comparing different urban development scenarios like tree canopy covers or soil permeability. It provides a clear visualization of those impacts on thermal stress and UHI for decision making. For the urban tree canopy department, this allows to identify priority areas for tree planting and also estimating the actual impact of trees on those shading, thermal stress reduction, and UHI mitigation. And this is in particular benefit. There's a significant cross-department benefits. Actually, this allows to have a common tool to facilitate collaboration between those different municipal or metropolitan level departments through a shared tool. And in particular, to make this ex ante and ex post evaluation of public policies, providing an actionable decision making possibility. Thank you very much. So if you want to test your solution, this solution in your city, or you are looking as a solution provider, you are looking for cities to test your innovation. And if you are also looking for funding for pilot deployments, reach us, join UTA, and you can join me, Takuro, Rodger, and all with this contact email, and we would be happy to help and happy to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So if you have any questions, please write your question in the chat window. So we will later, reply the questions. So we'd like to move on the next presentation by Mr. Gaetano. Are you ready for your presentation?
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let me share my screen. Just a moment. Okay. Can you confirm that you can see my screen? I go in presentation mode. So Levent introduces some of the aspects that Latitude 40 cover in the UTA, and we are extremely happy to be here today. Thank you for Levent for your technology alliance. So for Latitude 40, we are a space company. We use data from space and elaborate this data using our proprietary AI model. The topic is the focus is how to give more resilience, more information, more data to the city. It's clear that we know now in Europe we are under this very big heat stress in this moment. So the resilience in urban scenario is no longer an optional. So city managers, the majors need to give results to the citizen. And they have the big problem is that sometimes I worked in a city as a deputy major, and the big problem in a city is always the same: where to find the right data to take the right decision. And in this case, also the demonstration that in Grenoble we made something of really interesting for the city, but we have experienced in also other cities in Europe. The problem is I say something that Levent already said before. So the problem of temperature. So we have the problem that we cannot cover all the city with weather station or sensor because it's expensive to maintenance. And so typically we have single spot information that sometimes is not clearly represent the full city or the neighbor. So this is one of the problem, and today we are expecting a lot of problem for this heat stress. But the other aspect, green. I always love to speak about the green infrastructure. So the greenery is the city needs to imagine the greenery as an infrastructure like metropolitan railways, energy, water, because the green can give a big support to reduce this impact on the city, but also on pollution. So typical also as the Grenoble said, is not possible to quantify all the greenery in the city, but also see the evolution in time. This is another challenge. And finally, we have a lot of other aspects. So the flooding is one of the big problems that affect Europe in this moment, but probably the same is for Japan. The air quality, the same problem. We have a few air quality and we cannot spatialize this data, and also other aspects. Finally, the planning without the testing. When we plan mitigation action, sometimes we do without analyzing what is the effect. And so with satellite, with the AI, we can do this. So all this is Latitude 40. So we can help cities to evidence city problems, city risk, and to find the situation. One of the big potential of the satellite is that satellite is like a time machine. because we can go back in the past. In this image, you see an evolution in a city from 2019 to 2024. So when we start a project in a city, we always start from the past. So we see the long time trends, and so we can also help city manager, measures, and all the people inside the city why the risk is evident now, probably because there is too big urbanization, not correct planning. So with this history, we can see the future. So using the platform, we give the answer not only to city but to several aspects. The first answer for the city is where should we allocate our climate budget to have the maximum impact, but also to see how to protect the city from flooding, and other aspects, other answers that are more related to business sector. For example, verifying where are the properties that are at risk for climate. So we offer the platform. We can integrate the data also in other urban digital twins, like the situation, like the example in the Grenoble, where we combined the expertise of Kentyou, that has the platform for the deployment tool to access to the data, together with the real sim that provided the 3D view, and we provided the data, but we have also a full software as a service platform that can work in autonomous way. So what we produce, several layers, several information, air quality. We provide every 1 hour an air quality level, air quality information in the city with the 25 meter of resolution. So we give a point every 25 meter, temperature in Thailand, and perceived estimated temperature, the vegetation health and the carbon, the land use, land change. So also to verify what are happening in the city, the flood, the earthquake vulnerability, but also the storage and how to evaluate the green infrastructure and the construction and the asset monitoring, also to monitor the evolution of the activity in cities. Some aspects, so I already say, so with the temperature we can see land surface temperature, the urban tiles, and aspect is the continuous monitoring. Some other aspect over than Grenoble, so we worked with a city in Spain, Benidorm, and they received the 85% in reduction of costs for the monitoring. The other aspect is how to prove the green investment before to invest. This is the experience that we had in the city of Naples with a long-term project. We are working with them since 2018. The big result are that they reduce the temperature, the average temperature of around 3 degrees in some selected zone using nature-based solution. Just only 3 weeks to integrate the platform in their internal tools. And they also obtain in that specific zone the reduction of CO2 of more than 40% using some urban planning activities. The other aspect is Göteborg. We help the city also to work on the green roof, identify where is the best option to install green roof in city. Also in this case, the reduction of cost is extremely important, and this demonstrates how can we scale the data from Europe also to other countries, because we had some experience, for example, in Canada, in South America, or in other regions. The test before invest, already tested in Grenoble. The topic is that we monitor the city, analyze, simulate, and give the experience to the side. And the aspect is this. This is an example. We start from the current situation, so where you can see the evidence of the risk. Then the city can use a GIS to plan the mitigation action, and so see different scenario, different effect, and what is obtain also the KPI. So what is the result of this change? So this is a big tool that can help how to design cities of the future, open space of the future, and improve the quality of the city. In this case, this moment, the big customer for this solution is the government of Abu Dhabi. They created a specific project called Kula Abu Dhabi, and is concentrated to use this simulation to mitigate all the climate, to reduce the temperature in the city and in new real estate district. Parma is another case. So finally, this is one of my last slide. The concept is that this tool is built for city manager in mind. We design with contribution of them in different horizon projects. So we offer an easy to use solution, no bias, no big barrier to use satellite data. Is comprehensive, lot of data, flexible because can operate in a GIS or a digital twin or in our platform. The model is very simple because it's pay per use or a subscription, the simulation, and is proven more than 15 countries that are now used this solution. So if, as also I reinforce what Levent said before, if you are interested in a proof of concept or in test our solution, ask to UTA, and we are happy together with Levent and other partner to offer a simulation of our support to design and help you to design the city of the future. So thank you for your attention. Thank you for the invitation, and happy to give the capability to UTA to scale more from Europe to Japan.
Thank you very much. If you have questions, please chat to the window, or if you have any specific question, then you can also raise a hand. And but no question. Let me have one question. So you're doing the many city trials. So how many cities are you previously collaborate with? Like 10 cities, 20 cities?
Yeah, I did not present city trials are real customers, so different. We start with trials. Typically, is how to create the awareness between the city and the technology and the data. Then they understand the benefit of this technology, because the big investment are sometimes in technology, platform, digital twin that are complex to full of data, to insert data. So what we offer is the data to take the decision. The satellite is ubiquitous, cover also, for example, where JAXA in Japan has a very fantastic satellite, but also European Union with Sentinel, Landsat with NASA with Landsat. So there are very huge amount of data that come from space, but sometimes these data are not really used in everyday life. And so the scope of Latitudo is to simplify the complexity and give to everyone this possibility to interact with this data. Consider that we had also, just last information, we had a very good experience with the city of Turin in Italy, where we bring this data on mobile phone of the citizen, because we created a navigator for citizens. So to move from point A to point B of the city is not the shorter route, but is the route that avoid the urbanite island, avoid pollution, and suggest more greenery route for bicycle, pedal scooter, or walking. So there are a lot of application, and we can work with the city to design the best application, as we did with Levent and with Gavin of Real Sim in the city of Grenoble.
Yeah, that sounds very cool application. So thank you very much. And I'd like to talk from my side next. Let me share my screen. So I'd like to use the Japanese for my presentation and from now. So please access the link for the GlobeJoy to see to understand my Japanese into the English. はい、それでは皆様改めまして、 よろしくお願いします。名古屋大学の米沢と申します。私の方からはですね、少しちょっと、アーバンヒートアイランドとは違うトピックになるんですけれども、偶然のつながりを生むスマートシティに向けてというタイトルで、スマートシティにおける社会的つながりの支援と、そのために、我々が重要だと考えているモビリティですね。あと、モーティリティ、あと、マタリングという 3M の考え方について、ちょっと紹介したいと思います。で、私はですね、今、名古屋大学の大学院工学研究科で、スマートシティのためのユビキタスコンピューティングについて研究してます。で、私の研究の興味としては、都市の情報システムと人間の行動、そしてAI が交わる領域に関心があります。で、主にはですね、メインでは JST クレストのプロジェクトと JST のリステックスというプロジェクトを中心に研究を進めているということです。で、私がスマートシティに関わったのはですね、2013年頃からヨーロッパと日本でのスマートシティプロジェクトがありまして、そちらの方で、本日も、いらっしゃる、レベント先生ですとか、ロジャー先生たちと一緒に、いろいろプロジェクトに取り組んでまいりました。で、2019年に名古屋に移ってからは、名古屋市であったり、隣の西市ですとか、あと新城市などを中心とした研究開発であったりですとか、コロナ禍を踏まえた都市研究も進めてきました。で、そこでですね、近年は都市からデータを集めて分析するだけではなくて、そのデータや AI をどのように市民の皆様の日常体験や人のつながりに還元できるかという方向へ研究を今広げております。で、その背景となる社会課題が、社会的孤立、孤独という、課題になります。で、皆様、もしかしたらご存知かもしれないんですけれども、孤独、また孤立は現在ですね、非常に重要な社会的な問題、特に公衆衛生上の課題として認識されています。で、そのきっかけとなった論文がおそらくこちらの論文じゃないかなと思うんですけれども、このメタ分析の研究ですね、148の研究、約30万人のデータなどを分析した結果、強い社会的関係を持つ人はそうでない人と比べてですね、生存可能性が約50%高いことが示されています。で、また孤独とか社会的孤立が心疾患や認知機能の低下、メンタルヘルスなどとも関連すると報告されており、今現在1万2000程度の引用がされている、非常にインパクトの強い論文として認識されております。で、日本でもですね、内閣府の調査によれば、世代を問わずですね、国民のおよそ3分の1から2分の1が何らかの孤立や孤独のリスクを抱えているというような状況になりまして、高齢者だけの問題でもなくて、若者の問題だけでもなくて、全世代がそういったリスクにさらされているという状況が浮き彫りになっております。で、またですね、WHO、世界保健機構は2025年にですね、社会的孤立と孤独に関する初めての本格的な報告書を公表いたしました。ここでですね、孤独や孤立はですね、個人の健康だけではなくて、社会の活力低下であったり、経済的損失にもつながる社会全体で取り組むべき、問題として、今、大きく注目されている問題、となっております。で、こうした状況を受けてですね、世界各国でも様々な政策的な対応が進んでおります。で、イギリスではですね、2018年に孤独担当大臣が設置されて、アメリカでもですね、2023年に公衆衛生局長官がですね、孤独を流行病と表現いたしました。で、先ほど申し上げましたように、WHO でも2024年に、委員会がですね、社会的つながりに関する委員会が設置されています。で、日本でもですね、2021年に孤独・孤立担当大臣とその対策室が設置されて、2024年には孤独・孤立対策推進法が施行されました。で、また私がお世話になっております JST リステックスというプロジェクト領域でも孤立・孤独の予防と多様な社会的ネットワークの構築を目指す様々な研究開発が進められているということになっております。で、ここまでが背景なんですけれども、改めてですね、スマートシティはこの課題にどのように貢献できるかということを考えてみますとですね、スマートシティには、これは一般的なよく言われることなんですけれども、例えば効率的なモビリティだったり、都市データへの横断的なアクセス、またリアルタイムな状況把握と意思決定、そして住民が都市づくりに参加できるような仕組みなど、 こういった機能であったり機械を提供してもらえるのがスマートシティの一つのよくある形かなと思っているんですけれども、もちろんこれらはですね、都市を便利で効率的に運営する上で非常に重要なファンクションではあるんですけれども、一方でこうした機能が整えば自動的に人と人とのつながりが生まれるわけでもないということは、皆さん同意いただけるんじゃないかなと思います。で、例えばですね、豊富な交通ネットワークや多くのデジタルサービスに囲まれていて、都市部に住んでいても孤立や孤独を感じている人はいるわけでして、一方で交通環境が限られた地域であっても豊かな人間関係を築けているような人々もいます。つまり物理的につながることであったり、データ上でつながるだけでは十分ではないということです。この都市に存在するような機会がもしあれば、それを人がどのように利用して、どのように自分自身と関係づけるかまでを考える必要があるかなと、我々考えております。そこでですね、この偶然の社会的つながりを生み出すスマート視点に必要な視点として、次の3つの M を考えております。1つ目は、モビリティですね。モビリティ、鉄道、バス、道路、歩道、シェアモビリティなど、移動手段や物理的なインフラが存在すること、これはもちろん、非常にそもそも移動をできる手段があるかどうかということで重要な、問題、支援すべき、ものだと思います。で、これは主にハードウェアの問題で、あるかなと思いまして、問いとしては移動する手段があるかということかと思います。で、2つ目がモーティリティです。で、こちらはですね、社会学者のカウフマン先生が提唱した概念なんですけれども、移動手段が存在するだけではなくて、それを実際に利用できる能力や可能性を意味します。例えば分かりやすい例ですと、デジタルのチケットのアプリを操作できるかとか、経路を検索できるかとか、料金を支払えるかとか、どの交通手段を選べばいいかといったようなことですね。あと言われているのは、それを利用できるための時間や費用、デジタルリテラシーや身体的なアクセシビリティ、または心理的な安全性とか、そういったものも含まれます。ということで、2つ目の M、モーティリティは、どちらかというとソフトウェア、インターフェース、そして人間側の能力の問題かなと思ってます。問いとしては実際に移動できるか。ですね。で、3つ目、我々が重要と考えていることとして、マタリングという概念を挙げさせてください。で、ここではですね、マタリングを新しく出会った人とか場所とか活動とか、情報、考え方、それらをですね、自分に関係するもの、自分にとって価値のあるものとして受け取れるような、心持ちであったりとか、プロセス、として定義してます。で、つまり単に出会うだけではなくて、その出会いが自分にとって意味を持つかということをどう捉えることができるか。また、その出会いをドライブするために、このセレンディピティ的な能力を高める、一つの要因になるかなと思っています。まとめますと、この3つの M というのは、モビリティ、ムーブですね。モーティリティ、キャンムーブ、マタリング、メイクイット、マター。この3つの M が大事じゃないかなと考えております。で、本日はですね、このマタリングに関しまして、我々の研究の取り組みのいくつか紹介させていただきたいと思います。まず一つ目はですね、都市空間モデリング、都市空間をどう理解するかという観点なんですけれども、一般的な都市空間モデリング、都市のそれぞれのその機能をどうこの数値的に表現するかという意味では、都市をグリッドに分割してですね、それぞれの場所を数値ベクトル、つまり埋め込み表現として表します。で、これによって商業エリアだったり、住宅エリアだったり、飲食エリアとか、といったような場所の分類であったり、将来の予測が可能となります。で、一方でですね、同じ場所であっても、その意味は人によって使い方だったり、その場所が持っている意味っていうのは人々によって異なると、いうことがよくあります。例えば、ある駅はある人にとっては毎日訪れる生活の拠点ですけれども、別の人にとってはたまたま通過する場所かもしれないと。そこでですね、我々はどの場所を訪れたかだけではなくて、いつ訪れたか、そしてその場所が日常の移動の中でどのような意味を持っているのかということを考慮してモデリングを行います。で、これによってですね、場所ごとに異なる表現を構築して、その人にとって関係のある場所、関係づけられそうな場所を定量的に捉えようとしているというような研究になっています。で、この場所の埋め込み表現の分散をですね、分析することによって、その場所が持つ意味の多様性を捉えることができます。 ユーザー間の分散が大きい場所は異なる人々によって異なる意味で利用されているような場所であると認識できます。一方で同じユーザーの中でも時間帯による分散が大きい場所は朝とか昼とか夜などによって、その人にとっての意味が変化する場所、かなと思います。で、このように、この場所は何のための場所かと分類するだけではなくて、この場所にはどれだけ多様な意味が存在するかということを分析することで、異なる人や活動が交差し、偶然の出会いが生まれる可能性を持っているような場所を探索しやすくなる、認識しやすくなると考えています。で、2つ目はですね、オーギュメンテッドリアリティ、AR を用いて、日常空間をセレンディピティの場に変えるような研究を行っております。まずですね、ユーザーが強い関心を持っている分野と、これまであまり関心を持っていなかった分野というものを推定します。次にですね、スマートグラス、私も今スマートグラスかけているんですけれども、スマートグラスなどを使って周囲にあるこの風景ですね、日常なんですけれども、そこにある物体みたいなのを認識します。で、そしてユーザーの既存の興味と、これまで興味がなかった対象との間に関係性を作って提示するということをします。例えばですね、テクノロジーに興味がある人に対して紙の本をですね、現代の情報ストレージの原点として紹介することであったりとか、逆にパソコンをですね、昔の印刷技術とか出版文化につなげるものとして、見せることもできます。同じ慣れ親しんだものを違うような観点で見せたり、慣れ親しんでないものを自分のファミリアな観点に見せるということを、この仕組みでは実現しようとしています。で、目的はですね、単に追加の情報を表示することではなくて、これまで無関係だと思っていたものがなぜ自分に関係するのかを示して、新しい興味や視点を生み出すこと。こういった、技術がですね、マタリングを支援するために重要かなと思っています。で、最後の取り組みがですね、コミュニティコンパスという取り組みになっています。で、これはですね、日常生活の中で地域コミュニティの存在に気づく機会を増やすためのシステムです。で、この例では、体組成から得られる年齢身長は入力するんですけれども、体重とか筋肉量、体脂肪などのデータと、スマートシティ OS に蓄積された地域コミュニティの情報、これらを組み合わせてですね、大規模言語モデルがその人に適している可能性のある地域活動、もしくはその人の視野を広げてくれる可能性があるような地域活動とその理由を説明します。例えばですね、体を楽しく動かしたい人に対して地域の卓球の活動を紹介したりするんですけれども、その際に単に卓球がありますと表示するのだけではなくて、体組成の情報と結びつけて、なぜ卓球がその人に向いている可能性があるのかということを説明します。で、個人のこういった日常的なデータを地域を探索するための分かりやすく個人に関連したきっかけへ変換することを目的としています。で、また、こういったポス端末と連携して、日常的な都市の接点とも組み合わせることができるかなと思います。例えば、紙おむつとか、ベビーフードを購入した人には、地域の子育てサークルを紹介するとか、高齢者向けの食品や健康の的なお茶を購入した人には、そういった健康コミュニティを紹介するなど、技術的にはですね、この実時間で、この LLM にこういった地域情報を推薦させて、かつその理由をですね、生成するという、実時間の LLM システムを作るということに、研究的には取り組んでいるんですけれども、こういった普段の買い物がですね、地域コミュニティを偶然知るきっかけに変容させることができるんじゃないかなと考えています。もちろん、実際の運用ではですね、本人の同意とかデータ利用のプライバシー保護なども不可欠かなと思っています。で、昨年ではですね、このコンセプトを様々な都市や場面で実証いたしました。東京、静岡、神奈川、京都、同じシステムをですね、そのまま適用するのではなくて、それぞれの地域とか対象者とかイベントの文脈に合わせて情報や提示方法を設計しました。で、これまでですね、2000名を超える方々にシステムを体験していただきました。で、またですね、一時的なイベントでの実証だけではなくて、東京都豊島区の保健所にシステムを常設して、実際の公共サービスとして運用しております。で、常設後、最初の2ヶ月間で1000人を超える方々に体験していただいております。これ今私が体験しているんですけれども、この体組成にですね、乗ってですね、測るとですね、まず体組成の情報がレシートで出てきます。で、その後にですね、すぐこの隣にあるプリンターからですね、LLM がですね、私の体組成に応じて、様々な 地域のコミュニティですとか、おすすめのお散歩コースだったり、あとはおすすめの漫画みたいなことも、推薦してくれて、そこにその理由も合わせて書いてくれていて、いろいろな方から新しい発見があったりですとか、何かこう背中を押された感じがしたという感想もいただいております。で、こうした社会実装にはですね、技術だけではなくて、自治体、市民、企業、大学の連携が非常に重要となります。それぞれのですね、役割をうまく双方的に作用させることによって、地域の信頼できる情報、人と人との関係、これらをですね、適切なガバナンスと役割によって支えられるような、成功モデル、コラボレーションのモデルが作っていけるかなと思っております。はい、最後にまとめです。我々スマートシティの役割はですね、人をより早く移動させたりですとか、都市をより効率的に運営したりすることだけではなく、これまでに気づかなかった人とか場所とか活動、考え方との関係を見つけて、自分にとって意味あるものとして受け取れるようにすることも、これから大事な役割だと考えております。そのためにですね、モビリティが移動する機会を作って、モーティリティがその機会を実際に利用できるようにして、マタリングがこの偶然の出会いを自分にとって意味のあるものへ変える、そういったことがスマートシティの、機能として提供できるようになればいいかなと思っております。はい、以上になります。ご清聴ありがとうございました。Oh, thank you very much. I hope English speakers understand my explanation. But so we have the limited time, so would you like to move the last presentation? So, Moma-san, could you please start your presentation?
Sorry, but I forgot to unmute the Globe Joyban. Okay. では、皆様、こんにちは。レベントさん、ロジャーさん、拓郎さん、また UTA の皆様にこの機会をいただきまして感謝申し上げます。日本の関西エリア、神戸と大阪を拠点とする JRISS、社会システム総合研究所の望月と申します。本日はデータで捉える都市モビリティと題しまして、都市における人と交通の動きをどのように計測し、そのデータをどう活用するかということについてお話しします。まず簡単に弊社について紹介しますと、JRISS は研究から実装までを一貫して行う会社でして、研究成果を公共・民間の実プロジェクトへ展開しています。事業は独自の商品開発、ICT との連携、社会実装の3本柱で構成されてまして、交通系のスマートカードですとか、センサーですとか、デジタルサイネージなども、こういった枠組みから、生まれております。本日はデータの流れに沿って3つのステップでお話しします。まず第一にセンシングになります。人流交通を従来の専用機器を全面導入する方式に比べて低コストに計測いたします。第2に解析です。で、計測したデータを有用な情報へと変換します。これには災害時の活用を含みます。第3に共同です。UTA における連携の可能性について話します。まず、センシングについて述べます。まず背景となる課題ですが、多くの都市では人や車両の実際の動きを観測できるだけの密な計測網が整備されていません。従来の計測手法はコストが高く、即時性に乏しく、流度も荒いという課題があります。計測網が十分でない環境でいかにモビリティを把握するかが問題となります。これに対する弊社の方針は、既存のインフラを活用し、 専用機器を全面導入する従来方式に比べて低コストに計測する点にあります。弊社は主に3つのデータソースを用います。人流を計測する、Wi-Fi、Bluetooth パケットセンサー、あるいは、CCTV の映像の AI 解析、で、さらに交通を計測する民間プローブデータになります。これは、スマートフォンプローブであったり、車両プローブを利用したりします。で、それによって歩行者、群衆、車両という3つの対象を捉えます。まず、弊社の Wi-Fi パケットセンサー、アンプセンサーとも呼んでいますが、こちらは、スマートフォンが発する Wi-Fi のプローブリクエストを検知しまして、個人情報は、取得はせず、匿名化されたデータをもとにして人の流動を推定いたします。ここに示している例、右側の方ですけれども、大阪・関西万博2025と、あと関西一円における人流計測の、結果を、ダッシュボードと、グラフやなんかで表したという例になります。さらに、この取り組みは弊社単独ではなく、2022年に設立した関西広域流動、解析コンソーシアムですね。こちら会員は自治体さんですとか大学、あと鉄道事業者等々が入ってまして、で、設置したセンサーを一つの広域ネットワークとして統合しています。で、この共有基盤によって、単一地点ではなく、地域全体の流動を把握するということが可能になります。で、次に国際展開ですけれども、本手法は国外にも展開しております。例としては、JICA を通じた、カンボジアのシェムリアップ、の、プロジェクトに採択されまして、今週末から、カンボジアに出張になります。で、あとは、ルーマニアのブカレストにおいて、案件があるんですけれども、こちらはパデコ社と連携して、アンプセンサーを設置して人流を計測するということを行っています。で、こういった、取り組みは、UTA と連携することで、さらに、広げられるのではというふうに考えております。で、あと、Wi-Fi に加えまして、既存のカメラも活用しています。京都嵐山の渡月橋というのをご存知かもしれませんが、日本有数の混雑する観光地になっています。で、こちらに京都市の観光協会が、YouTube で映像を配信しているんですけれども、その CCTV の映像から AI で歩行者と車両を判別して、カウントするっていうようなことをやってます。で、季節のカメラをモビリティ計測の手段として利用するもので、こういった取り組みがセンシングに関する取り組みの内容となります。で、次2番目が、解析になります。データからの情報抽出について述べます。で、こちらは、弊社での解析は、大学との共同研究やなんかも行っておりまして、こちら、京都大学の大西先生の研究グループとともに、交通データと機械学習を組み合わせて、道路ネットワーク全体の状況を推定するというようなことをやっています。混雑した、道路セグメントを、発見して、そちらに対してアラートを生成して、送信するみたいなことをやってます。で、これは単一のセンサーで観測できる範囲を超えるもので、こういった共同研究が、次に示す災害時の分析の基盤にもなっていたりします。で、これは同じプロジェクトの一例ですが、トヨタの車両プローブの過去データを使って、路面摩擦の推定やなんかを、行いました。で、豪雪時に車両の挙動ですね、ABS やトラクションコントロールの作動状況、車輪速、加速度を読み取って、路面の滑りやすさを推定します。で、車両自体が、この場合、路面状態のセンサーとして機能するっていうような、形になります。で、こちらは同じデータから車両がスリップまたはスタックしている箇所を検出できますので、これを分析することで、トヨタから提供された過去データを用いて、10メートルメッシュ、 1時間単位で行った、結果になります。こうした検出は、降雪時の危険区間の把握ですとか、冬季の道路管理に有用となっています。で、車両情報のリアルタイム収集ですとか、配信については、現在、その OEM、車両メーカーさんの各社で、多分アクティブに取り組まれているっていうところかと思います。ここで、解析を災害時に適用した事例としまして、2024年の元旦、能登半島地震が、16時10分に発災したんですけれども、こちらの2枚の図は、発災直後の16時00分と、直後の16時15分の道路交通を、トムトム社のトラフィックフローのデータから、可視化したものになっています。で、地震前は元日の夕刻であり、多くの道路で交通が計測されていませんが、地震が起こった15分後ですね、沿岸部に、流動が現れているのが分かります。これは津波警報に伴う避難と考えられます。で、一方で、他の道路は静穏になってまして、モビリティデータを用いることで、災害が道路網に及ぼす影響を時系列で把握することができます。ここで重要なのは、発災直後の混乱下でも、こうしたプローブデータが継続して取得できていた点になります。停電が生じた地域でも、モバイルキャリアさんの努力もありまして、携帯電話はしばしば稼働を続けておりまして、実際発災から数日後の1月4日にも、停電下の輪島市内で車両の動きが観測されています。モバイル通信のインフラが一定の強靭性を保っていたことを示すものでありまして、災害時にも人や車両の動きを捉え続けられる防災災害対応におけるモビリティデータ活用の有用性を示していると言えます。で、最後3つ目ですが、共同の、話になります。共同としましてデータの共有と連携についてお話しするんですが、連携の具体的な形態として、次の3点が考えられます。1つは事例やノウハウの共有、すなわち関西における、実践と欧州における実践の比較ですとか、国境と越えた都市間の連携、そして共通の技術標準化に向けた取り組みということであって、ある地域で構築したデータやツールを他の地域でも再利用可能とするものです。で、こちらでは進行中の事柄としまして、1つ目、日本の、宝塚市さん、兵庫県にありますが、こちらのやり取りがありまして、同市は公共交通に関する勉強会を計画しておりまして、その中で UTA の事例紹介をしてもらったらどうかということが非公式に案として上がっています。で、これは、弊社が西日本各市に有する自治体との連携の一例になります。で、2番目としましては、これは、ケンチュさんですね、レベントさんのご協力もありまして、技術面において、先進ナクトと、先ほどの兄弟のプロジェクトで、作った、システムとの、一部連携の実験などを行いまして、で、兄弟プロジェクトのデータ使用に基づいて、県中の技術者の方が、弊社の表示機能の一部を、実装してくださいました。で、統合は技術的に確認済みですが、運用面での利用については未定ではありますが、実現可能性を示すものでして、今後もさらに、検討を進めたいと考えています。で、3つ目なんですけれども、ちょっとこれは、後ほど多分正式に依頼したいと思ってるんですけれども、弊社が事務局を務めている、U2A 研究会という、研究会がありまして、大阪を拠点とするセンサーネットワークの研究会になってます。で、こちらで、欧州のスマートシティの動向について、オンラインでご講演をいただければなと考えておりまして、9月25日に、第208回目の、研究会の開催がありますので、ぜひともお願いできればと考えております。 で、最後に、以上、センシング解析共同の3段階でデータで捉える都市モビリティについてお話ししました。欧州と日本をスマートシティでつなぐ、こういった場において、UTA メンバーの皆様と連携できれば幸いです。ご清聴ありがとうございました。以上になります。
You're on mute, Takuro.
Sorry. 望月さん、ありがとうございます。望月さんとは、J リスさんとは、我々名古屋大学も過去にですね、人流の測定を東山動物園で行わせていただいたりして、非常にお世話になっておりまして、今日もいろいろその後の展開の話が聞けてとても良かったです。So I'm very sorry, but now original schedule has passed. So, but if you have any short questions from floors, would like to hear. But okay, if not,
Not really a question, but just Moma, thanks very much for the presentation. And I think your suggestion of trying to find some way to collaborate a little bit more is a great idea. I think, as I mentioned, there's the series of EU project requests coming up, calls for proposals.
Yeah.
And I suggest maybe on the next meeting, I think, Takora, you mentioned this, that on the next of these webinars, we'll focus a little bit more on those. Perhaps we could take a look at those and find out if those are a way to provide a framework for collaboration, bringing some of the technologies you're suggesting from Japan and companies from Japan with European ones within the framework of a new project. So let's take a look at that on the next webinar, perhaps.
Thank you very much.
thank you. So if you have no questions, maybe the Levent, you could conclude our session.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nothing more to say, actually. Thanks again for organizing and the participants. And a special thanks to our technological sponsor, let's say NTT Advanced Technologies. I think the tool worked quite fine and very well. Just a question, Takuro, is it possible to download the transcript somehow? If it is
Yes.
possible, yeah, maybe it would be interesting.
Yeah, it's possible.
And we will be coming back to you also with a feedback form and also informing you about the next series of webinars. And we will invite the challenge side, but also solution provider side. And also, as mentioned by Roger, we will have a particular focus on upcoming calls. There are a lot of interesting calls that we can collaborate. I think that would be a good opportunity to increase the already existing collaboration we have. Thanks again. If you have other questions, just feel free to contact us also by email. And if you have a very burning question, feel free to take the floor. But otherwise, I think we can wrap up.
Mhm.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much, and have a
So,
nice
thank you very much.
day and have a nice evening.
See you
Bye.
next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.